Christopher just turned on his camera. Everybody tune in tomorrow, and we about to switch to the next topic. Linez, what we talking about, Linez?
Hold on. Let me set up. Oh, wait, man.
So while you doing that, Linez, talk about inviting the guests. You invited the guests. Talk about the guests.
Well, so tonight we have on James, Christopher, and Mark. Mark, what is your last name? It's not. I got to bring forward. Thank you. I didn't want to say it wrong, but basically, Mark is an advocate and a father who is advocating for a bill to be changed and amended. He's going to come on. He's going to tell you about his plight. He's going to tell you about what he's pushing. He's amazing. We're talking about police reform. We're talking about community. And I just want them to speak. Get them on. Did you? All
right. I'm trying to set it.
I wasn't prepared for this, so now I'm just free. I wasn't prepared for that. I thought, Damon had it covered. I just gave him all the information, and I'm waiting for Damon. So you caught me off guard. I apologize.
We need to do the freestyle while Damon sets up the cameras. I
apologize. I was not prepared. But we have Mark Fishmen and we have James Christopher. And what they're speaking about, the movement, the work that they're doing in the community is important.
Hold on, what happened?
So please tune in, listen up, and keep a close ear because this story is amazing.
So
all right. Listen, I messed up somewhere. I messed up. Hold on a second.
Lesson, Linez, always be ready to freestyle. Just gotta get ready to jump. So shout out to those listening. I see Sister Kemi Poe is on. Christopher Mosley, shout out to you. I'm trying to go through the names real quick. Kevin Meggett, I hope I pronounced that right. Left several comments. Who else? Kevin left several comments. Joshua Hood, Conservative Askew. I think I pronounced it right. TRPLOGDF on that's his Facebook handle. CKH. I still don't know who that is. CKH937610.
There we go.
Always on. Veronica Lord and everyone else who's tuned in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You're tuned in to Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show. This is what we do. So have our guests introduce themselves. So say your name, who you are, and why you're here.
I'll go first. Thanks for having me, James Christopher. I'm owner of James Christopher Communications, and I do political consulting and public relations. And I've been working with Mark for some time to try to get across his reforms for people with disabilities and police reform. And before that, I was at the New York State Assembly and the Brooklyn Democratic Party for several years. Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. So, Mark, what kind of legislation of reforms are you trying to push forward? Oh, introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Mark Fishmen, and I'm a Westchester disabled father of four who's disabled from a car accident in 2013 where I was hit by a van outside Ward School dropping off my daughter. And I have traumatic brain injury, tinnitus, as well as cognitive impairment and memory issues. I have 2 neurostimulators in my chest. And since I got in the accident, I've been tortured in family court, as well as criminalized as a parent, because Westchester and its elected government officials unfortunately don't accommodate those with cognitive memory and hearing impairments. So thank you for giving James and I an audience tonight.
Organizations like Westchester Disabled on the Move have been no help. Aren't they supposed to be about that life? Supposed to be.
Mel Tamsen was great help. Mel Tamsen retired at Westchester Disabled on the Move. Disability Rights New York has tried to help. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with the court system, state court pretends to have qualified and state sovereign immunity. That means it's very difficult to lodge complaints against elected officials, and very difficult, costly to pursue them. But
right.
James will tell you, in July of 2021, the Federal Second Circuit ordered New York State courts and 4 of your Westchester judges, including Michelle Shower and Judge Greenwald and Judge Oliver Gordon, to provide what I'm using on your podcast, which is real-time transcription, which displays the words on the screen. I'd actually go to federal court to sue the court. And because there is no immunity for disability discrimination on the American Disabilities Act or on the Rehabilitation Act. Congress waived it for administrative disability discrimination. And how can you get fair justice in a court if you can't hear, you can't register words?
Mm-hmm.
I also have cubital tunnel syndrome, so I can't write notes with my hands. And the courts never let me bring in a note taker or a stenographer. In family court in Westchester, we have 3 courts, New Rochelle, White Plains, and Yonkers, and none of them have a court reporter. So if you want court reported minutes, you have to order a transcript that could take a year, 6 months. So real-time transcription, known as CART, is there for those of us who need a real-time transcript. And although Governor Cuomo signed the law making every single court in New York State have this technology called CART, real-time transcription, in 2015, if the judges don't agree to put it on, it doesn't work, it doesn't function. So I actually had to sue to get it activated during my court appearances and help those with other cognitive and memory impairments in federal court.
I'm glad to say, at least on Facebook, we have the words, the caption go up. I got to check on other forms of social media like YouTube and everything, but I know Facebook, we have the words that come across the screen. So it hopefully makes it easier for other people, because you don't even think about that want to watch the show or participate, and they need that. So
I have a question for Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So as an advocate and a father, when did you realize that the issue wasn't just enforcement, but how the law itself is written and applied?
Well, I realized it firsthand when Judge Michelle Shower put me in jail in 2017 for confinement. No criminal charge. She sent me to Westchester County Jail for 3 weeks because she said that despite her failing to allow my note taker access to the courtroom, failing to allow a tape recorder, failing now a note taker entry, that my claims of memory impairment were false, and that I was too smart not to remember 3 weeks in jail. No bail. But once you're in jail and you realize that someone has the power to just take away your rights, lock you up. For me, it was the jail hospital. So I have 2 neurostimulators in my chest. They're metal, they're batteries, and they're explosive next to those metal detectors that are in the jail, or any metal detector in a courthouse. So obviously I was kept under nurses' care and guard care 24/7 because I get punched in the chest or tripped, I'm dead. And I'll take some others with me with the explosive nature. But for a judge elected by the people, Michelle Shower, to jail me, okay? And the most petty thing, she said, Mr. Fishman, you sent gifts on holidays to your 4 kids. I said, yeah, Your Honor. Your order of protection says that I could send gifts on holidays. She turns the microphone off and she says, maybe in your effing life, July 4th, Memorial Day, Passover, Easter, are holidays, but they're not in this courtroom. Go to jail.
So wait, she put you in jail for sending gifts to your children. There was an order of protections. Speak a little bit more about that, just so people are clear.
Correct. So the way that judges criminalize parenting is that they put in orders of protection against good parents. Okay, so in my case, my ex was complaining that I sent gifts too frequently. I'd given my daughter a gift certificate to Amazon for her younger brothers and for herself. She ordered a lot of gifts. The judge says those are gifts from me, even though she put them in herself with Amazon, others sent them. And so the judge said I violated an order of protection she issued and that I needed confinement. I wasn't pursued criminally. DA DeFury refused to press charges. And Judge Shower said, go to jail for 3 weeks on the taxpayers to have round-the-clock medical care for me as a traumatic brain injury survivor in Westchester Jail Hospital for 2 weeks.
What is your wife's name?
Jennifer Solomon.
Hey, Jennifer. There are a lot of women who are fighting to get the fathers of their kids to pay them some time and send them money and gifts and stuff like that.
That's true.
They're in court complaining that fathers don't do this kind of stuff. And you're complaining he did it too much? I just wanted to bring that. I just had to say that. I'm sorry. I'm just like, yo, I'm baffled. I'm baffled that you were too good of a father. You sent too many gifts to your child, and you should go to jail for sending too many gifts to your child. I have never heard anything like that. I don't know what order protections allow you to do and not do, but I've never heard anyone go to jail for sending too many gifts to their child. I'm sorry.
And no bail.
Whoever the judge was for that, you get the gas face too. I'm not sure who you are. It's probably
Judge Michelle Shower, White Plains.
Okay, yes, I don't know her.
Shower.
Yes, yo, you get the gas face.
Discriminating judge.
Yes.
Who denied accommodations for a disabled victim of a car accident.
So you were talking about reform. I know Lanez mentioned and y'all mentioned you working on or trying to get through or proposing some sort of reform. Speak about that.
Well, AJ, they recently, so I was going to get him in to speak about his recently launched protectnewyorkers.com.
Okay.
What questions are you hoping people would finally ask themselves when they visit your site?
Thank you. So to give you the brief synopsis, it got worse than being jailed for gift giving. I was then later arrested during supervised visitation with a $500 aid supervisor by a rogue disability discriminating cop named Lane Schlesinger. And the supervisor, who you guys might know as Sean Cocaine Kane, who planted evidence on the personal trainer, and was terminated along with Schlesinger. So the reason I mention this is because I had a $500 a day supervisor. I can't drive to my kids, have a driver and a disability aid, and I utilize them for communication. And one of my kids is autistic, so I had bi-monthly visitation. Went there near my ex-wife's house on the visitation day. My ex-wife did not give my autistic kid to the supervisor for a visit, so I went to the New Rochelle Police, asking to make a complaint and get a police report number saying my constitutional rights as a father were being violated. I told the police I have difficulty registering memory. Back then, my memory was at 4% compared to other 44-year-olds. And I spoke very tangentially, difficulty focusing. And the police are well aware of my disabilities because they had a 117-page report from Westchester County Jail for my 2-week stay there that I have difficulty hearing and remembering. And instead of accommodating me, instead of allowing my aide and I to explain a complicated 30-page single-space visitation order from the same judge, Michelle Shower, granted me visitation alternate Saturdays, of which December 15, 18 was one. Instead, the officer denied the accommodations, separated me from my aide, took away my notepad, took away my medical bag, took away my notes, and put me in a question answering room, demanding that I answer questions without my aide and without the court-appointed aide that even disability discriminating Judge Shower appointed helped me on visits because she didn't want me driving and she didn't want me carrying my medical bag. And that became what is now the only Westchester cop who was designated pattern misconduct by Letitia James. Officer terminated Lane Schlesinger, fired May of 2024 for misconduct, including misconduct in my case and against a lot of African Americans and Spanish people in New Rochelle, the first and only law enforcement misconduct in Westchester. And yet I was convicted of violating order of protection without knowledge of his report, without getting the video in the police precinct, which said that he didn't think I committed a crime, without getting the video that said he didn't read the order of protection, and without knowledge, of course, that Officer Kane had planted evidence on Ivan Harper and others. And they convicted me where I couldn't participate in the courtroom because I didn't have real-time transcription, so I couldn't testify. I couldn't hear witnesses.
Wow.
And despite winning in federal court, as I said to you, in 2021, a year after the trial, the accommodations that ordering the court to turn on real-time transcription, they've refused to retry and instead have continued orders of protection keeping me from my kids now for over 6 years, with the only law enforcement misconduct cop fired in Westchester. 38 of them in New York State that came out of this law enforcement misconduct, which Governor Cuomo signed with the Assembly, which was New York's reaction to the tragic death of disabled George Floyd, an avenue to address police misconduct. And the tragedy here, ladies and gentlemen, is that a lot of cops have been fired. Okay, a lot of cops have been disciplined, 38 of them. But guess what? There is no provision in law enforcement law that any district attorney or the attorney general has to reverse or review wrongful convictions of the 38 law enforcement misconduct cops. None. So today I'm advocating for protectnewyorkers.com to amend the law enforcement misconduct law to require within 60 days that a district attorney investigate all of the convictions of any cop fired or labeled law enforcement misconduct, pattern false arresting. And we're hoping to get support. My officer, Officer Lane Schlesinger, was forced out, gets his $92,000 pension. Meanwhile, those of us suffer with wrongful conviction and an appellate process does not reverse wrongful convictions, takes too long.
I want to say one thing, Damien. It's somewhat of a joke, but so I want to thank Mark for informing me of the one case, because I haven't been able to find any of them.
Bruh, that's what I said. I said, well, he did get one out of the. And yeah, I've been a long time critic of Tish James. I really think she's full of it, but I'm glad that with your case, she came through. I think is great. And first, whatever we could do, to help you, let us know.
Well, I have another question about the bill amendment that he's trying to push forward.
Yeah. Because I want to know more about the bill, and we could support it. We could support that.
You're pushing a specific bill amendment, right? I want to know, and I'm sure our listeners want to know, what is the single most important protection this amendment would add that does not exist today?
James, want to answer that?
Sure. Yeah, I would say gives it more teeth. The Law Enforcement Misconduct Office, which is LEMIO. It right now, when they find someone like that, Lane Schlesinger, they can only make recommendations, which basically can be ignored. And this would add requirements. So cases like Mark's, they would be required to do some form of action, and wouldn't be swept under the rug. And when I started working with Mark, I almost thought this was made up, and almost didn't. I almost thought it was unbelievable. But then I looked into it, and there's probably just so many other cases like this, and it would require everybody who has been labeled as a bad pattern misconduct officer for them to actually, have teeth to review the cases. Because Mark's is currently they can just ignore it.
So James, let me ask you this, right? How would the amendment change outcomes? Not hypothetically, right? But in real everyday encounters between residents and the system. So our listeners can really understand what you're pushing.
So it would it's like it wouldn't help if you're arrested, or if you're tried for something. Prosecutors, for the first time, they would have to act when they say like an officer is unreliable, and even if you have a public defender or if you have a lawyer, they couldn't take you to court for something or with an unreliable officer and just ignore it completely. And
James,
I would say that it takes Lemio's mission is to protect New Yorkers. That's what its stated mission is. But if if you're found guilty for something, it would require someone, a district attorney, say in Westchester, Susan K. Case, within 60 days to determine whether to drop a charges or if that officer had a significant role, and you'd also be entitled to mandatory bail hearing as well.
Okay. This is my last question, and then guys, y'all could go, right? If lawmakers were watching tonight, what is the one thing you would want them to understand before they vote on this amendment?
That it's not anti-police. It's for accountability. We're not trying to get rid of police protections, and we're not against police or anything. This is just for the worst actors in the state. That the Attorney General herself has recognized and investigated and said these are bad officers. Are not against just regular police officers, and I personally salute our first responders and everything, but this just affects the worst officers out there, and drives reform.
No, AJ,
is there a bill number in the Assembly in the New York Senate? Do you have bill numbers so we can encourage everybody listening to call their state senator and their assembly person to pass this, to vote for this?
We don't have a bill number, and this legislative session starts in January. I would encourage everyone to call their legislator and ask them to either sponsor it or support the bill.
Right. Okay. Who would be the in the Senate or in the Assembly that is willing to sponsor it now, or is that you're still working on that?
I would say we're still working on it.
Okay.
Especially considering that, Friday, there's all these major reforms passed. This is completely separate from it, and I'd also like to add that it's not a new bill. It's amending, the existing bill that's there.
Okay.
And, I would say that everybody, you could just call your local assembly member or state senator and tell them to support this measure. Yeah. And
Cool. Well, definitely we want you to come back and update us on how this piece of legislation is going, and especially if you get sponsors. So we could definitely, put some pressure on the sponsors or support the sponsors of the bill. A lot of times it's hard, bro, to get anything with law enforcement, to get a politician to actually sponsor a piece of legislation. So I understand. We've been dealing with New York State for over 30 years and dealing with police reform. AJ, what was Jamal Smythe? He was doing time on a drug arrest that he didn't commit. And if it wasn't for the two officers in Yonkers, I think they got brought up on charges on, how did that happen?
They falsified search warrant affidavits.
Yeah, they falsified search warrant affidavits, and the guy that they went in the house, somehow he ended up going out the window.
Mario Tanner.
Yeah, that happened on School Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all the information started coming out about them, and just Smythe ended up getting out because of that. So yes, the history of officers should be very important when they do arrest. But I mean, New York State has a hard time doing oversight laws of police. And even Tish James being an independent special prosecutor, to me, that was a short stick because we felt that the governor should appoint one, not having an elected official as an independent special prosecutor. So whatever we could do to have the conversation with oversight and accountability of law enforcement, this is a place you could come. We're not scared at all.
So
thank you, Damon. Thank you.
from
And I just want to add.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
The evidence I've gotten came about because I have a federal lawsuit against New Rochelle and against Lane Schlesinger. The only reason he was referred to law enforcement misconduct, Damon, was the fact that the New Rochelle insurance policy insurer forced him to report it. Keep in mind, James will tell you, if you look in detail of the 38 cops labeled pattern misconduct, every single police chief has been terminated who had a police misconduct, including Officer Gazzola. They'll say that, he retired. He didn't retire. Same thing with Schlesinger. No retirement over here. And the conflict is very big with Letitia James. We're encouraging people to contact Tyler Nims, the head of law enforcement misconduct, to have him review the convictions. Keep in mind, D.A. Case was a former judge. I had 8 judges served in federal court by Judge Ken Karras for denying me a note taker in real-time transcription. He had marshals go to their houses. So I'm hated in Westchester courts. And for a former judge, there's zero chance. So what we're saying over here is that despite having evidentiary law 245, you're supposed to get cameras. Gentlemen, ladies, they said there was no camera footage. I'm a real estate guy. I saw 8 cameras in the ceiling. Okay, what do you mean there's no camera? You know what it took? They know what it took? It took dragging Officer Schlesinger and Officer Wensler to federal court, to the magistrate judge's chambers on Caropa Street, having them swear under oath, having them take off the police vest, check the bullets in the gun with the federal officers, raise the hand, and first question is, where's the cameras? Where's the recording? Oh, it's been in my desk for 4 years. Really?
Wow.
So do your case want to drop charges? Oh, of course not, because it's 17 years of Officer Schlesinger and Officer Kane testifying in front of these judges. How many cases are going to be reversed? It's a farce about wrongful convictions. And Senator Zeleny Minor back in 2023 sponsored the Clear Wrongful Conviction Act. We don't have one. This law, in essence, would be a Clear Wrongful Conviction Act for bad cops. Okay? New Jersey has a Clear Wrongful Conviction Act. Illinois has one. California has one. Why does New York? When Governor Hochul vetoed it in December 23, you know what she said, ladies and gentlemen?
She did.
She said it would clog the system too much. Yeah, you have all these innocent people in jail. What? You know what I did?
She did.
Gordon couldn't believe how many disability advocates were calling and sending gifts and sending, cognitive tests and puzzles and books for me to read. And he's like, you have all these supporters. He's like, no one cares about the disabled. He's like, will you help write accommodations? I said, sure. I said, but I'm in an orange suit. I got half a pencil here. What do you want me to do? No, you're perfect. He says they're all scared of you, and they'll give accommodations to all these people. And I could not believe. It's the one thing which I'll say Mayor Adams is correct on. 40% of the people in jail are disabled. Most of them were dyslexic. A lot of them have mental impairment. And I can tell you, by being in the jail hospital for 2 weeks, you can believe, how can you convict someone who can't hear? How can you convict someone who's deaf? How can you convict someone who can't walk straight? They don't accommodate. Right. We have a district attorney who on December 3rd didn't mention that she supports International Disabilities Day. But on every other holiday this year on Facebook and everything, she puts down that she supports every other issue, domestic violence, this, that, whatever. She's not pro-disabled. People need to understand it. Wow. And too many are afraid of her. Too many are afraid of her because if we accommodate all the people in Westchester County Jail, we'd take out half the prisoners. They wouldn't be there. Okay, they'd be getting help and accommodations instead of.
Hey, listen. Listen, I did 33 years as a correction officer in Westchester County Jail. This is my 3rd year retired, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, and that's something that we do not address, the mental illness, and we have to address that. You know, and thank you for doing the work that you're doing, and keep doing it. Whatever we can do, we have your back on this. Trust
Thank
me
you.
on that.
I also want to add.
And you heard me earlier, so you know I got a big mouth. I'm not scared to talk. So you know,
I want to say
whatever we can do.
Before we finish, I want to say, so I looked up. So the New York State Assembly has a People with Disability Committee, and the Senate has a Disability Committee with Senator Patricia Hahy is the chair of the Senate Disability Committee. Assemblyman Angelo Santa Barbara is the chair of the Assembly People with Disability Committee. And there's other members, including Senator Shelley Mayers, who watched this show, who is involved in legislation for accessibility and disability rights. So I'm going to look up all the people on this thing. If y'all have anything in writing that y'all want to get to them, I'm going to send it to me, and I'm going to send an email to them.
We drafted a bill amendment, so
yeah, send me that, please. And I'm going to send
that.
I'm going to send, and especially, like I said, Senator Shelley Myers, out of all the people that they named, is a follower and a supporter of the show. The rest of the people I don't personally know, but it shouldn't be hard for me to find their email addresses and compose an email and send it to them. And then I will be talking to Senator Shelley Myers personally to see, what can be done to try to get this forward and see what we can do on that level to get some help for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
thanks. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Raymond Fowler.
Yeah. Is there any what's the web, what's the website, and how can people get in touch with you if they want to support or they want to know more information, on what you're trying to do, and so you could keep in touch with the listeners? How can they get in touch with your guys?
So there's it's called protectnewyorkers.com, and that's spelled out NEW Yorkers.com. And on there, there's a sign up form, and the bill amendment is also posted on there. And, anybody who signs up, we would love to get them involved. We are eager to have people involved, and to, like you said, write to your local representative and ask them to support this. Yeah.
For those who want to follow the federal case,
is that it right there? I'm sorry.
NewRochellePoliceAbuse.com.
Look at the screen. Is that what you said? ProtectNewYorkers.com?
It's missing the S at the end, but yeah.
New Yorkers with an S. Okay.
Yeah.
Protect New Yorkers with an S, yes. And we just want to add, for those who want to follow the federal case against New Rochelle, 6.5 years in federal court, it's NewRochellePoliceAbuse.com. Again, NewRochellePoliceAbuse.com. And, all the discovery we've gotten from the Attorney General and the FOIL records is illuminating. The law enforcement misconduct report only mentioned 5 instances of officers last year. There have been over 40, but the Attorney General felt they couldn't report all of them, even though they spent 29 months on his investigation. They couldn't report all of them. Okay.
Say that website again. New Rochelle what?
NewRochellePoliceAbuse.com. That is following our story that James is a big part of. NewRochellePoliceAbuse.com, which is currently in federal appeals court in the Second Circuit, and has been in litigation now for over 6 years, where all of the FOIL discovery, camera footage, including the cop telling my disability aide 4 times I didn't commit a crime, didn't have intent to commit a crime, wasn't malicious to commit a crime, just the crime was committed. Nothing the jury saw. Jury wasn't given any of this because the parties that be didn't want him to. Enhanced discovery is only for those who don't sue Westchester state judges for disability discrimination. Those of us who do are punished and labeled for life. There's no fairness in Westchester. Go to federal court if you want your civil rights, your constitutional rights, protected, as I've had to do.
Well, I want to thank y'all for coming on. As Damon said, anything that we can do to help, please make sure the email is blackwestchester@gmail.com. Please send me whatever you would like them to send, and with what you already wrote up, and any message that you would like to go with that, and I will comply. Email CC you on it, and I will reach make sure the people, the members of the Assembly's People with Disability Committee and the Senate's Disability Committee make sure they get this. And again, like I said, Senator Shelley Myers is a fan of the show, a supporter of the show, and she watches often. But I will make sure personally to reach out to her when I send this to see if we can get any traction level. So
thank you.
Like I said, I'll CC you on it, so when the responses come, you'll see the responses and everything. So thank you for coming on, and
thank you. Thanks for having us.
Keep fighting and doing what you do, man. I mean, this is what Black Westchester, People Before Politics, is about. Putting the people before the politics and bringing up these issues and informing people, because there's a lot of people that don't know. There may be someone who ends up watching this who is going through this that does not know those websites exist, do not know that there are people trying to get legislation, and might feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this, who maybe never spoke up because they felt they was alone. So hopefully those people see that as well. And some of our listeners, we put the websites up. Make sure you go check the websites and you support this. If that's it. That's all for me. Damon, Linez.
No, whatever we could do. We're here.
Make sure you come back and keep us updated. And to our fans, there will be an article about what we discussed today from Larnez's lens.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. It's what we do. People before politics, man. We put the people before the politics.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad. Thank